Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and this week we are going to be reviewing One Piece manga chapter 1074. And the title is called Mark III. And unfortunately, we see Caesar, Judge, and Queen all fighting one another, that they're all scrapping to be number 2, which I kind of find interesting that that's what caused the fight. I thought it would always be over the ideals of Vegapunk that made him Klaus, but it looks to be something different.
Maybe that's it, or maybe they're like just pointing out like, oh, these guys aren't compatible at all. Like they know that they can't be as smart as Vegapunk, so they're just trying to get to number 2 and prove their way is better, or whatever.
Yeah, because I think they would be a deadly combo if all three joined forces.
Yeah, but I don't think any of their personalities would let them do that.
I guess you could say there was an indirect alliance between Caesar and Queen, right? Because they both worked under Kaido, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, Oda didn't really develop that connection as much back then, which, yeah, it's kind of an interesting thought looking back on it. And then, obviously, Caesar and Judge are with each other right now, too, so they're all kind of interacting with one another. But, so what were your thoughts with these new pacifistas?
Okay, so I was thinking that they would just be kind of replaced by the Seraphim, but it seems like the Seraphim, like, there's only one Seraphim per warlord. It's not like they were mass-produced like Kuma.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I thought that Oda would incorporate the pacifistas from Film Z, the all-white ones.
Yes.
Because those were the only pacifistas we saw post-time skip that weren't the original ones.
Yes.
But yeah, what about you?
I think they're interesting. Now, it was interesting how they're saying they're far more advanced than the original pacifista. I'll say this for the end. I feel like something really bad's about to happen to the Straw Hats, but I'll kind of leave that there. And the introduction with these guys, I think, and further solidifies the Subodi archipelago, Subodi, right? Feel right here, where we're seeing an insane amount of overlap between Subodi and Egghead right now, and an introduction to new pacifistas, and in Subodi we were introduced with pacifistas. Just saying, it's kind of interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, and Kizaru's on his way too.
Kizaru's on his way. Kuma is heavily involved in this arc, as he was in Subodi. Multiple warlords. Multiple supernovas. From Bonnie to Law, Luffy, right? And then, so we have like a lot of that, like really heavy focus right here. So, oh yeah, sorry, and I guess you could say Worst Generation Blackbeard too. Yeah, just add that guy in there too.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, and then we have Sentomaru right here, who has
who's not dead.
Yeah. No way. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting to see Sentomaru back. Not really, but I like him. It's just like, of course, he didn't die. But,
I mean, he survived Lucci. I mean, that's a feat.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see him completely betray the Navy.
Yeah. I was gonna mention that. Like, that didn't seem like that would happen. Like, I guess he just has more loyalty to Vegapunk more so than the government.
It seems slightly out of character for him in a way, because
yeah,
you could say, okay, well, he tried to kill him, of course he's gonna betray, and I guess, like, okay, sure, that logic works, but at the same time, he was really aggressive after the Straw Hats, like, extremely, and now he's, like, defending them? I don't know, it just kind of seems weird to me, that's all.
Yeah, because I think back in Sabaody, he wasn't... Oh, another Sabaody, Sentomaru's here. But,
yeah, right.
But he wasn't officially a part of the Navy. I think they specifically said that. And then after the time skip, he's specifically mentioned that he joined them.
Okay, got it.
So it's interesting, yeah, that he's betraying them. And I guess you could say like he has some sort of respect for the Straw Hats, because going back to right after the time skip when they're all rejoining, and he like beats down the fake Luffy, and it's like there's no way you're a Straw Hat, like he's not this weak or whatever. So I guess there's some sort of respect there, but yeah, it does seem a little out of character for him.
And he also fought in the Marineford War too, you know.
Yeah, he was ruthless against the pirates, because he was leading the pacifistas on their flank.
Yeah, so just I don't know. Maybe we'll get more with his character later on, but or maybe he'll join Sword or something. But so it was interesting to see Luffy still, you know, pretty worn out. So it's nice to see some side effects from Gear 5.
I don't know if it's from that or if it's just a gag. Like he was running around so much that he was.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Actually, wait, no, I think on... I think you're more correct, looking back on that then. But, yeah, so Vegapunk's missing, and then we kind of see a nice collab of all the paths of Vegapunk and the Straw Hats and everything. Again, it's kind of annoying that you have another Vegapunk path that's kind of just, like, good to go. I'm blanking on which one Lucci, like, took out.
Her. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I get a little sick of the fake outs, but we'll kind of see, I guess. But it's funny to see Nami kicking Kaku and Lucci.
I was gonna say that's. I didn't realize that when I read it first, but that's a good little thing right there.
Yeah. So basically, they're saying how they're trapped right now, and that if they were to leave, the lasers would likely fry us. And so obviously they have to follow Vegapunk. They have to go find Vegapunk, but like the Seraphim rampage is making it where they can't see things as usual. And this is kind of where it's getting a little ominous, because they kind of made it seem like, oh, they were good to go, you know, and now it's like they have everybody together. Now it seems like things aren't going to be as simple as they seem, and it makes you think, I don't know, something ominous is on the horizon.
Yeah, it's almost kind of set up like a horror movie type scenario. Like, oh, we need to go look for something now. We all got to split up and do that. You two stay here, and because there's definitely something lurking out there that we don't know what it is. And there was something else I was gonna say, but it's gonna come back to me. But yeah.
Yeah, obviously it was hilarious, the Zoro thing. How they're like, you have to stay here, dude. Like, there's no way you can just walk off. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting that they're all stuck here, like basically out of their own design, with the dome shield, rather than like an outside force doing that. And yeah, it's like you said. They're all set up like, oh, we're all here now. Like I thought that this was gonna end pretty soon, this arc, but
yeah,
who knows what else is gonna pop up.
Yeah, and also real quick with the panel where Luffy says huff huff blah, I always go all out for everything, can't believe we bumped into these guys again. I think like that was the reason why I thought it was more a reference to that, like fighting them.
Yeah, I mean it could be interpreted either way.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put that point there. And they're eventually good old Iceberg, you know, seeing how he's doing, wondering there. And then, so what you think about Bonnie finding Kuma, like getting picked on and all that kind of stuff? What were your thoughts with this?
So, well, first thing, we're definitely going to see more, because I think that she's going back into the memory. But yeah, it's interesting to see what this is, because not the ones who are beating him, but it looks like the second set of shadows are like government or noble. The
Celestial Dragons. Yeah.
just based on that one hairstyle.
That's another connection with Sabaody, but yeah, continue.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting, and this kind of makes it seems like he would maybe be a slave, because he says the other people say if you escape, they'll kill the rest of us. Yeah. So but it's interesting because we did get to see like in one of the SBSs, Oda drew like the young warlords, and I mean, this matches, but it seemed like Kuma was like on a journey. Yeah.
Which makes it's interesting if he was a slave back then, because he was also a ruler at one point as well.
Yeah.
So that's interesting with his timeline, you know? And I don't know how he would end up joining. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense how he would join up with the revolutionaries at one point too, but yeah, I kind of want to see that more fleshed out more.
Yeah,
it's a cool art. I like the art. I think it's pretty cool. How he did this flashback here.
Yeah, it also makes me want to learn more about like the Sorbet Kingdom, if it's like its own like if it's like not even affiliated with the world government or anything. Because that would make sense if like how they would give Kuma like a bad name like Tyrant and and everything. I'm very interested in this backstory. But yeah.
And I think Bonnie's character just really blossomed a good bit, you know, where a lot more there, and Oda's just really developing the heck out of her, which is great. I haven't seen Mr. Morge's video on her being a new Straw Hat. So he may like present a more compelling case, but I'd say my initial skepticism is going to be, we saw a lot of development with Yamato. And a lot of wasted panel time, in my humble opinion, for her not being a Straw Hat.
If Bonnie becomes a Straw Hat over Yamato, everyone will riot.
But I mean, I like Bonnie a lot better than Yamato, you know. But like,
I was gonna say the opposite. I like Yamato better than Bonnie, just in terms of character. But like, I think she would fit better with the Straw Hats than Bonnie would, but yeah. So
I have having her join the Straw Hats is like Law joining the Straw Hats, or it's just kind of like having two Supernova. Okay, you already have like two Supernova on board. Now you're gonna have three, and
plus a Warlord.
And having like a former captain of a crew kind of get on there seems weird. You could say Jinbei, but Jinbei,
he was basically like he wasn't like an active pirate basically at that time. He wasn't leading his own crew.
Yeah, it's a little different. So, and I know Bonnie's crew's been out of the story for a long time now. Yeah. But
I mean, I think the last time we saw them was the before the time skip, when they were captured by Blackbeard. So who knows if they're even like still alive.
Yeah, because seemingly Akainu, and we still have to figure out that connection why Akainu's blood boiled. I guess we're starting to get more why you could be angry, right?
Yeah, or why like Bonnie's even free. Like how?
Yeah.
Like, because last we saw her was like with Akainu.
Yeah.
Prior to the time skip.
So, I don't know. I'm just coloring me skeptical with her joining. I'm just gonna, like I said, maybe Morge makes a good argument with it. I haven't seen it, but
I put it at like 6%.
Yeah, I'd say I'm close to there too. Like, she's great. Love Bonnie. Like, she's becoming one of my more favorite Supernova actually after this arc. So because she came off as a crew glutton, and now you're seeing like a way radically different side of her super quickly, you know. So what are your thoughts on Punk 4?
Okay, so I had to look up the name. It's Pythagoras. I don't know what's going on here. Because we thought that... Because they can detect all the life in there, right? Because they could detect, like, how many people came up from the lower level. So I'm just interested to see, like, who this is. Because we haven't even been given, like, an inkling of who this could potentially be.
Clink, potentially? Or would you say that's the Punk?
No, cause it looks like it's coming from the footsteps, but that could just be someone like walking on metal. Yeah. But yeah, this is a real. Yeah, this is a mystery.
I don't think it's Kizaru, because Kizaru, he doesn't operate that way.
Yeah, he's not stealthy. He literally came into Sabody and blew up one of the mangrove trees.
Yeah. You just blow up the top and be like, oh, that's literally how it, that's how it's gonna work.
I mean,
I have one random weird thought, but don't roast me for it.
Yeah.
Bluto?
I mean, it could be.
He was given more coverage in the Film Red movie.
Yeah.
He has one of the few abilities to get in there.
It's true.
So that's kind of a thought right there. Obviously he has a reason to go in there. And also, they referenced Iceberg, and they're, kind of like, oh yeah, I can't believe we had to fight these two again. And it's like, okay, well maybe there's more people from the crew here.
I mean, we also got a reference with the pacifist in the beginning using a bubble shield, and that's Khalifa's power.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah. So, I actually had a thought of that, yeah. So, I'm wondering if, like, obviously, Cypher Pull's the most stealthy, and this seems like a more stealthy character. Most characters in One Piece aren't stealthy,
Yeah.
Like, they're, like, the only ones that are remotely stealthy. I guess there's Raizo, but that's it. But, I think,
Raizo's stealthy.
That's my hat in the ring right there, is it's Bluno.
That's a good thought. I hadn't thought about that.
And this is kind of okay, right here. This is where I'm like, if this Sabody is going to be a negative ending, like, so Egghead will be negative like Sabody. If you look at the introduction of these pacifistas, where, okay, yeah, they're knocking out some fodder Cypher Pull agents, but and they're supposed to quote unquote protect the Straw Hats, and Straw Hats usually never get lucky like that, where, oh cool, here's a powerful force defending us. It's like, no, it's like Order 66 Star Wars thing where they're all going to turn on them,
Yeah.
Very quickly. And if other Cypher Pull agents are here, they can just quickly take out Sentomaru again, they control them. So, like, those pacifistas can turn on them, Seraphim can turn on them, and then Kaku Lucci can quickly be freed. And then attack them. And then you have Kizaru and Agorase coming in, too.
Yeah.
That's... So they have, like, this huge force that, like, Stussy's going on the ship. All the punks are going on the ship. Vegapunk's going on the ship. I think it's kind of like a false sense of security right now, and we're starting to see that false sense of security happen. Like, they're all going to be taken out one by one pretty quickly. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah. That could be. Yeah, I like that theory that's Bluno. And
yeah, either him or some other. Let's see. I think that the only other Cypher Pull agent was the one with the red mask, at the Reverie. That's the only one I think we haven't been introduced with. But like I said, Bluno has like he could get a lot of people in there too, if he wanted to.
That's true. Although,
and like I said, sorry.
I was gonna say in Film Red they did like it's like linked to his stamina, how his doors work, which was kind of weird because we never got that indication in the actual series. But that could just be weird, like movie movie bullshit.
Yeah, because they can't overdo it with Bluno kind of in the movie. You know, kind of like plot armor for Utah. But
yeah.
So, anyways, that's my thought there. That's my little theory for this week. You can all roast me next week if it's completely out of left field. But the goat has arrived again. Morgan's thoughts.
So I want to know where he's getting this scoop from. That's the big question. Could potentially be Stussy, because he does have some sort of connection with Stussy, but why would Stussy leak that to him? Yeah, I want to know who's leaking this information to him. But
yeah, Stussy's a good guess. I like that.
Yeah. But he's also like spinning it to. He's basically kind of like a giant troll at this point. Because he's like Straw Hat's kidnapping Vegapunk, or taking Vegapunk hostage. We'll do that so the government doesn't like get on our bad side or whatever. But I'm just doing this for entertainment. I don't care about the actual truth. And by the way,
would you say this further? Oh, sorry, go.
I was gonna say, and he also like was the one that initially named like Luffy the fifth Yonko.
Right. But isn't it kind of fitting, like, if Vegapunk ends up dying here, then Luffy's gonna get blamed for it?
That's true. Yeah, he could inadvertently like report it like that.
Yeah. Because like if he takes him hostage, then the city ends up being negative, where Luffy's gonna get the blame here. You know. Kind of like how Sabo got blamed for killing Cobra.
That's true.
Right. You may see something similar happening right here.
Yeah. Speaking of what happened to Cobra, we finally get Best Girl Vivi back in the story.
So I was talking with the filthy Jumper about this and how like we kind of think it's Bonnie or Vivi are the two likeliest choices to become a Straw Hat, just from this chapter. I don't know. I think the Vivi stock has increased slightly.
Yeah, Vivi stock going up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I always thought that she was going to rejoin anyway. But I did not expect Wapol to be here. Literally a garbage character, but also very important. Because you have to go back to like the cover story where he's like, didn't he find like a new element or something? And that's how he got another kingdom and he's rich. Yeah. But yeah, he also knows what happened at the Reverie, so
obviously he like didn't he like punch her or something at the old Reverie, you know, right?
Yeah.
When she was a little kid.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So they kind of have a connection there. Since we're doing all these freaking previous arc connections, it's interesting how Blackbeard is introduced in Egghead because Wapol had a connection with Blackbeard, where Blackbeard kicked out Wapo, came in and tore up the town. He dipped. And isn't there like some indication in theory that basically, that Blackbeard used to live at Drum Island?
I mean, he visited Drum Island. I don't know if he's necessarily from Drum Island, but yeah.
There was a connection there. I'm blanking on why.
There was the thing that Luffy said about people from snowy islands don't sleep.
Yes. Okay.
That was the thing that connected with Blackbeard.
And then Blackbeard ended up going to Drum Island again. So yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
I also just wanted to point out that like Wapol saying like Morgans took us in, so it seems like he's also involved in whatever happened to Vivi. But like the government and the newspapers didn't like even report on him, which I think is kind of funny. Yeah, because the headlines were all unless it's like I'm trying to I can't picture it, but I'm trying to maybe in like when they were announcing the thing about Vivi and Cobra, I vaguely remember something like Wapol was in like a corner or something. But yeah, he's not the big news.
Yeah.
For it.
So do you think Oda's setting up reunion between Vivi and Straw Hat soon?
I don't know, because we don't know where in the world Morgan's is. So he could just be kind of anywhere at this point. He's where he needs to be.
Yes.
But yeah, I think this would be a good way to get Vivi back in the story. Because I think we originally we were talking about Vivi with her connection with Sabo. That Sabo, she was with Sabo. But I mean, that's completely thrown out the window now. So that makes like how Sabo escaped even more of a mystery, like what exactly happened at the Reverie. I think we're gonna get a Reverie flashback eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe even when like Vivi meets up with Luffy and the crew again, or even with Sabo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all my thoughts for the chapter. Anything else from you?
Yeah, no, I'd say that's about it. Yeah, Blue No Theory, Vivi becoming a Straw Hat, I think is more likely at this point. And that's kind of where I'm at, I'd say, with it. I'm looking forward to it. I think next week might be a potentially explosive chapter, so we will soon see, and we'll see if things are about to get bad at the end of this arc, like my little other prediction. But anyways, yeah, please like and subscribe, everyone who's listening, and thank you for listening, and we will see you all next week.
See ya.